faces. They are the new generation of gymnasts who hope to represent the United States around the world on the road to Seoul in the '88 Olympic Games. Soon they'll be as familiar to you as Tracy Talavera, Mitch Gaylord, Julianne McNamara, or Bart Connor. On the way to Seoul, they'll have to overtake some familiar faces. Olympians from Los Angeles who have decided to tread the road again. Today, the journey begins. Welcome to the Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Jacksonville, Florida for the McDonald's United States Gymnastics Championships. Good afternoon. I'm Don Crickey. As you may know, the times are a-changing in this sport. America's gold medal success at the Los Angeles Olympics also brought the curtain down on the performing careers of some of our greatest gymnasts. And now a whole new array of rising stars has come center stage, and we'll be watching them today. Kathy Johnson and Peter Vidmar have been a great part of the American success story in gymnastics. As you know, they both won medals at the LA Games. Kathy, what's the state of women's gymnastics right now?
Well, Don, the Olympics were a great inspiration to many gymnasts, and we're seeing the result here. Mary Lurette is not in the competition. However, she does plan on still competing. Two Olympians, Pam Bialik and Michelle Desir, are not here due to injuries. What we have here is a melting pot. We'll see the Olympic alternate, Marie Roethlisberger, a reemergence of some top gymnasts in the past, and that's Kelly Garrison and Yolanda Mavety, as well as some great new faces, Sabrina Marr and Stacey Gunthorpe. So remember those names.
Peter Vidmar, you'll recall, came away from Los Angeles with 2 gold medals. Peter, do you see any future gold medal winners here?
I certainly do. The great news is that 2 of our Olympic champions have returned. Tim Daggett and Scott Johnson have decided to hang around. But the best news is that we have fresh new faces giving the old ones a run for their money. So the names of Daggett and Johnson are now mingled with the names of Babcock and Hayden.
Greg Lewis is also with us. He'll be on the floor talking to the competitors. Let's go to Greg now.
Thanks, Don. Well, being down here on the floor, I get the feeling of a person who's just gone back to a school after the seniors have graduated. The room's still the same. We've still got the high bar and the balance beam, but most of the faces have changed. What's reassuring is that the new faces, the new senior class, has the same confidence, the same gold medal spirit as its predecessors.
Now America's best ready to go on display here in Jacksonville. The men's all-around competition has been concluded. We'll be watching some outstanding moments from that. Brian Babcock held to a slight lead over newcomer Dan Hayden in the compulsories. Tim Daggett was third.
Here's Olympian Scott Johnson on the parallel bars. He's only been training the compulsories for about 4 weeks, so that's why he's back in the standings. But he's really moving on up here in the optionals. He's going to set up for a beautiful double pike dismount, and he sticks it cold. This is the first chance for these gymnasts to perform the new 1988 Olympic compulsories, so a lot of them are performing some rough routines, but they're really making up for it in the optionals. Now, Tim Daggett, the bronze medalist in this event, slipped off the pommel horse right there, right on his specialty. He tried a new and very difficult routine. He was hoping that that could boost him up in the all-around standings. But that mistake just cost him that much more. Dan Hayden, a tough, young, disciplined gymnast, is here in the rings. He's doing a back-up rise to a handstand. He has a very straight handstand, a beautiful gymnast. Now he's going to set up for his dismount, a full twisting double back.
The judges respond with a 9-5 for young Dan Hayden. With it, he takes the lead over Brian Babcock after one event.
On the vault, Dan had some problems. He did a handspring pike front, but he took a huge hop, and that cost him quite a bit, which opened the doors for Brian. Brian seized the opportunity to jump back into the lead for this seesaw competition by nailing this unique parallel bar routine. He does a back toss, beautiful straight handstand, another back toss, and a double back dismount.
And a 9.70 for Brian Babcock from the judges. 2 rotations, 2 lead changes, and it isn't over yet. Compulsory routines is introduced to the sport. We've talked about the effect of the 1988 compulsories on the all-around score. Here's Peter Vidmar to explain.
The compulsory routine must be performed exactly as written, and it sets the pace for the competition. Here I am in the pommel horse, where I won the Olympic gold medal. The routine on the left is the 1984 Olympic compulsory routine, one that's been in my blood for the last 4 years. While it may not be the perfect 10 I scored in the Olympics, I can still make it through without much trouble. The new 88 compulsory routine on the right isn't too difficult to make all the way through, but it will take some time before it can be done to the ultimate. Unlike the old compulsory, the new routine has certain tricks that can potentially be taken to a handstand. The judges know that and won't give out those big scores until they see a little bit more. Now, the dismount on the right is very low, and it's going to take a while to take it much higher. The dismount on the left on the old routine isn't too hard to do, and I was able to perform that without too much difficulty.
Peter, how long does it take a gymnast to become fluid in the new routine?
Well, sometimes it can take a couple years for them to be able to perform the routine to the ultimate. And that's really the goal and the key. And so if I'm going to get back in the sport, I'm going to have to start very soon.
Brian Babcock at age 24 doing well. He holds the lead through 3 rotations with Dan Hayden still second. Now we have Brian Babcock on the floor exercise.
And Brian had some problems. He had a lot of adrenaline here, and he did a very, very high double back, but he was so high that he over-rotated, and he fell to his back, a major deduction.
Bill Meade, Babcock's coach, said that Brian is more motivated now than he's ever been. He's tired of being on the fringe of the world-class gymnasts.
Here's another motivated gymnast, Phil Cahoy. He's taking a year off of medical school to perform in this competition, and he's been looking great throughout the entire optional round. He's performing on the pommel horse here, which is one of his best events, and this routine moved him up into 5th place ahead of teammate Scott Johnson.
To impress the judges, great daring must be demonstrated, and here's Dan Hayden on one of his specialties, the high bar, trying to take back the lead.
Dan's always tough on the horizontal bar, and he has those big tricks. Here he is, winding up for that dismount, a double back over the bar with a full twist. That's enough to put him back in the lead.
9.75 is the score for Dan Hayden, and for the 3rd time, the lead has changed.
We saw Brian having problems on floor, and now it was Dan's turn, unfortunately, on the floor exercise. Here he is, setting up for his mount. It's an Arabian double front. Very, very difficult, but you can see Dan opens up just a little bit too soon, and he lands right on his seat. Going into the last pass of his floor routine, he also had a little problem. I think he was a little bit tired, and he may have been thinking about that mount. Did the double back, but he stumbled forward. You can't make mistakes like that if you expect to win the all-around title.
Brian Babcock coming up now to his favorite event, the pommel horse.
Brian's always been very tough on this event. He works a lot behind his back, a lot of tricks on one pommel. This is a great angle to see the momentum that someone gets on the pommel horse. We're going to see his whole routine here. He does a flare all the way up to the center of the horse, does his scissor work. Now he's going to set up for his final few tricks before doing a dismount. A lot of flares, a loop around and a flare right up to a handstand. That was a beautiful routine, the best pommel horse set of the meet.
It was that, Peter, a 9.70, good enough to vault Brian Babcock back into the lead. For the 4th time, the lead has changed hands.
Because of this tight battle for 1st place in the all-around competition, we haven't been able to show you some other faces in gymnastics. Charles Lakes has been in 4th place through the entire competition. He's a very strong and very powerful gymnast. We're going to see a lot of Charles in the future. Here he is doing a round-off double back for his 3rd tumbling pass. He's going to set up for a dismount, which is very difficult to do at the end of a 60-second floor exercise routine. It's a round-off flip-flop, double pike flip. Here he goes. He sets up into it, and he sticks it perfectly.
The 9.65 score, the best in the all-around competition for the floor exercise.
Dan Hayden had one last chance to catch up, and this is a very good event for him, the pommel horse, but it looks to me like he just ran out of gas and didn't quite make it to the top on that dismount.
Great stamina as well as great versatility is required to excel in the all-around. Dan Hayden didn't have it there.
And Brian Babcock knew that he could just finish it off if he hit this ring routine, and he set up for a beautiful full twisting double back dismount, and he sticks it cold.
So Brian Babcock, who's labored a long time, finally becomes the best in America. The men's all-around competition to this 24-year-old from Southern Illinois University, beating out the impressive newcomer Dan Hayden by a slight margin.
Congratulations to both of you. Dan, what was the story?
It was a rough meet. I tried to keep my concentration as much as possible and tried to block everything out. And the last 2 events I had a little trouble on.
And what about you? Hey, you're the champ.
Well, it was a tight and close meet, and I think both Dan and I did feel the pressure. And we tried to just go out and do the best we could, and I think we did.
You certainly did. Superb job.
Next, the women's all-around. Now it's time to watch the women's all-around competition, an area that Kathy Johnson was expert in. Kathy, how do these women look?
The all-around competition was very interesting because the top 3 performers came in with a completely different motivation. Marie Roethlisberger was the Olympic alternate in '84, and was the favorite to win, but she had her problems. The intriguing part of the competition was between Kelly Garrison, the veteran, and a newcomer, Sabrina Marr. They were both very well-trained athletes, and it came right down to the last event.
Here's how the women stood after compulsories, which count 60% of the final total, unlike the men. Kathy?
The philosophy for this was so that the gymnasts would work harder on the new compulsories, and it's important as a country that we do that. Marie, after the compulsory competition, finished third. She was a little conservative in compulsories, but as you can see here, she starts out aggressive and does a nice floor routine.
And is given a score of 9.60. Now here's an exciting little lady coming up, Kelly Garrison from Altus, Oklahoma on the vault.
Kelly did a super job in compulsories. It's always been one of her strong suits. She started on a steady event for her, scoring a 9.6. So she's still the leader. But Sabrina Marr also started on a strong event, and this set the pace for the competition for Sabrina. She finished well and scored a 9.7 on the floor exercise.
And after one rotation, Kelly Garrison the leader, but by a very slight margin over young Sabrina Marr. We go to the second rotation and a very exciting young performer, Stacy Gunthorpe, on the floor exercise.
Now this is a girl to watch. She's very young and inexperienced, but she's got the power and the strength. Once she gets that experience and a little bit of polish, I think she'll be one to watch. Now watch, you'll see the speed and strength she has in her tumbling run. So when the dance catches up, she'll be right there. This is her last pass, finishing high and strong with the double back. There's a lot of potential there. Now, a score of 9.35 shows that the finishing touches aren't quite there. But when she adds that, she'll be right up in the higher scoring range.
And after two rotations, Kelly Garrison continues to lead it by a very slight margin over Sabrina Marr.
Now, here, a lot of the girls had some problems. This is Marie's event, and this never happens. Watch. She misses her grip. Kelly Garrison, also on her event. She's very, very steady. Has always been known for performing quite well and very calm on this event. She has a lot of difficulty. In fact, we usually describe her routine as throwing everything except the kitchen sink.
But disaster looms every moment on the beam.
Now, here it comes. She has done this move for years. An aerial cartwheel right to the end of the beam. Her foot slightly goes off the end. There's nowhere to go.
And the score is 9.10 for our leader.
Right, now here's Sabrina Marr. Just consistent as ever. Does a nice bar routine. Finishes strong with the double back.
Workmanlike performance on the parallel bars for Sabrina Marr, a score of 9.4, and she takes the lead.
In her final event, the floor exercise, Kelly needed a 9.5 to take the all-around. Kelly performs very well on the floor exercise. She has grace and elegance. She does a very nice routine, but not exceptional for Kelly.
9.45 is the score. Now it's up to 15-year-old Sabrina Marr to try and take the lead.
Kelly left the door wide open. Sabrina needed to score very well on this event, and sometimes this event is troublesome for Sabrina. She handled the pressure quite well. In fact, she performed on the balance beam like I've never seen her perform before. The dismount is a round-off triple twist. Now watch this. Very difficult dismount. Slight step on the end, but a great routine.
Good enough to win. 9.65, and Sabrina Marr, 15 years old, who's never before won a national competition of any kind, reigns as champion of the USA. Greg Lewis had a chance to visit with her.
I'm floating on cloud 9. I just can't believe this is happening to me. I'm not sure I want to come down yet.
Well, don't come down for long. How did it come about? Did you come here with any idea you could do this?
I didn't expect to place first. I mean, I was hoping for maybe top 6, top 3 maybe. But I've worked hard for the past 3 weeks, so I think maybe I didn't want to come and just mess it all up. So I'm just glad I did the way I did.
You didn't mess anything up. You were wonderful, and congratulations again.
Thanks.
Coming up, the men's and women's individual event finals, where America's best put their best on display. Welcome back to the McDonald's U.S. Gymnastics Championships at Jacksonville, Florida. Now that we've seen the men's and women's all-around competition, it's time for another very special part of the U.S. Championships, the individual event finals. Kathy Johnson, what can we look for among the women?
Don, we'll see our top all-arounders emerge as the one to watch in the individual event final. Sabrina Marr and Kelly Garrison will battle it out on the balance beam and the floor exercise. And Marie Roethlisberger, even though she had her problems in all-around competition, will be right up there for that title on the uneven bars.
Like Kathy, Peter, you were always a standout in the individual event competition. What can we look for today?
Well, due to rule changes, the scores may be lower than they've been in the past, but the routines are going to be just as exciting. I think the key to winning will probably be the use of a new super trick, one that catches the eye of the judges and of the crowd. I still think we should look for the all-around standouts to win gold medals on the individual apparatus. Hayden, Babcock, Daggett, and Johnson, they're all going to do great.
Let's check in again now with Greg Lewis and find out the mood on the floor.
Thanks, Don. There's a very different mood down here today. The pressure cooker of the all-around is off. Oh, sure, there's a little bit of nervousness, but in the individual event finals, the real attitude is go for it.
For the men, the first event is the floor exercise, and we lead off with Wes Suter of the University of Nebraska, the men's reigning NCAA all-around champion.
Now, Wes mounts with a layout 1.5 twist punch full twist dive roll. That's one of those super tricks that I was talking about. There are A moves, B moves, C moves, and now D moves in gymnastics, and the gymnast must use a D move in his routine, and Wes just fulfilled that requirement. Here's his press to a handstand. It's nice and solid. Wes is a very clean gymnast. That's going to take him a long ways in this sport. Here's a pike front walkout, round off back handspring, layout double twist, a little hop. That's going to be a bit of a deduction. This routine isn't as powerful as some of the other routines, and yet Wes is very clean, so he'll make up for it there. There's his flexibility with a split. Now he's going to set up for a dismount. Let's see if he does a double back flip or maybe just a layout double twist. There's his scale. And he does a layout double twist. Not quite as difficult a dismount as he could have done. I don't know if Wes is hurt, but then again, this is the finals, and these gymnasts are a little bit tired after the first few days of competition.
And for Wes Suter, a score of 9.45. Another rising star in U.S. gymnastics is Brian Ginsberg of UCLA. He'll be a sophomore next fall. He is an outstanding tumbler. We asked him why.
I don't have a lot of body weight to lift up in the air, but
Our next competitor.
I just found it natural, tumbling. You know, when like my first year of gymnastics, I was able to do a double back, and I mean, my first couple of tries, I was able to learn the more difficult floor exercise, tumbling passes, and you know, everything just came naturally on the floor.
Peter, I know you had a lot to do with him going to UCLA, and he's going to be a great one.
He certainly is. I'm glad UCLA got him. And look at this, a double layout, and he lands perfectly. Guys like Brian really frustrate gymnasts like me because I had to work hard for my tumbling, and it seems to come so natural for Brian. Beautiful double back. He sticks it cold. Now watch this. A little breakdancing maneuver into Thomas flares on the floor, into a pirouetting straddle handstand. That's exciting. Now he's going to set up for his third tumbling pass. It's a round-off, layout, full twist, punch front 1 1/4. Look how bouncy Brian is. Now here comes the press in his routine. Beautiful flange. Presses up to a handstand. Well, he took a pirouette a little bit too soon. That might be a deduction for not holding that handstand after his press. Nonetheless, this is a very beautiful routine, and Brian's going to set up now for his dismount. Here's his scale. Round off, back handspring, double back. Beautiful landing. Brian needs a 9.5 to jump into the lead.
And he gets a 9.6, so Brian Ginsberg goes to the top for the moment. Another gymnast gaining a lot of acclaim is Mark Oates of the University of Oklahoma. Very strong in floor exercise.
He certainly is. Mark has very powerful legs. Here's a full twisting double back. Lands perfectly. Here's his second pass. Oh, it's a very unusual pass. That's a 1.5 twisting, 1 1/4 front flip right to a prone position. I've never seen that done before. Here's his press to a handstand. Now Mark holds that press. That might be the difference between his routine and Brian's routine. Front, punch front, head spring, and now he's going to set up for his dismount. Mark might be trying a layout 1.5 twist, punch front. It's a new dismount. It's not as exciting as a traditional double back flip, yet it's very difficult, and he'll get that D credit from the judges. There it is, and he lands it perfectly. I'm really intrigued by that second pass. Let's take a look at that in slow motion. He does a round off, layout with a half twist, and here goes a 1.5 twisting, 1.25 front, right to a prone position. Looks like it hurts, but it's a very difficult trick.
And 9.65 is the score, so that impressive final tumbling pass wins the men's floor exercise for Mark Oates of Oklahoma. Coming up, women's vaulting and men's pommel horse. As we continue individual event finals, we'll show you how it works in actual competition. Men and women alternate events. Women are now ready for the first of their 4 events, the vaulting competition. Men are in the second of their 6, the pommel horse. And here's Tim Daggett.
Don, we talked about the scores being lower because of new standards. Well, let me take you back to the 1984 USA Championships, where we see Tim Daggett's pommel horse routine that received a perfect score of 10. There were 44 10s given in the Olympic Games, and the judges decided that they had to stiffen up on those rules, so they made the requirements much tougher. Now, Tim gets a perfect score here. The routine is performed very, very well. He has plenty of difficulty for the old standards, but with the old standards, he can only score maybe a 9.8 this year, so Tim decided to make even a more difficult routine. Let's see how he does it now. He had some problems in the all-around competition, but I think he really wants revenge. He works a lot on one pommel behind his back. There's about 6 tricks on one pommel. This is one of the toughest routines I've ever seen. And now he does his flare work in the middle. A scissor, a back scissor with a half twist, and now a front scissor with a half twist. And here's his flare work. There's 1 hop, 2 hops in flares, and his 3rd hop right to a handstand. A little problem there, but boy, is that a power-packed routine.
Very strong effort by Tim Daggett, but far for tenor judges' opinion, a score of 9.60. The women's vaulting competition is underway. That's Sabrina Marr, the 15-year-old from Southern California. She talked with her coach, Steve Gerlach, after her first vault.
So good. Just a little bit quicker with your arms, getting into your hurdle. I want your legs together. All right? Chest in, legs together, and you get your landing under control. Okay? Good luck.
Sabrina has become a much stronger vaulter in the last year. She scored a 9.6 on the first vault. Let's see if she does what Steve said. Quicker arms, legs together. Nice ball. Now you'll see in the slow motion the improvements she made. Quicker arms, legs together right off the horse, and a perfect landing.
And a good score, a 9.65 for Sabrina Marr. Phil Cahoy didn't go to the 1984 Olympics because of a series of injuries, but he's back competing now. He still keeps on and told us why.
You know, I'm still young. I'm going to have, you know, time to do other things in life. You know, the rest of my life, be a doctor the rest of my life or something like that. And I'm only going to be able to do gymnastics until I'm, well, maybe 26, 27, 28. So I figure I better do that and be happy with it instead of cut it off and say, well, I should have, I would have, or I could have.
Phil's always been strong on the pommel horse, and here he is, ready to go, Peter.
Phil needs a 9.5 to take the lead, and I think he can do it. He does a lot of work with his hands in front of him as opposed to behind him. Now, this is a very unique trait with Phil, and he does it very, very well. He's got a long body, and it looks beautiful on the pommel horse. Nice, clean scissors. Sets up for his dismount. And he does a dismount to a handstand. He touched his foot in the horse. There might be a little deduction. That's a dismount for Phil.
But he did get the 9.5 he needed to take the lead. Phil Cahoy goes to the top. Now we continue with women's vaulting. Tracy Kalora is ready for her second attempt.
Tracy has always been strong in vault, as well as a really good all-around competitor. She seems to do this vault with ease. So I'm sure what she's concentrating on now is just a really good landing. A little bit of a hop, but it was a pretty vault. She does the same vault that Sabrina did. But if you'll remember, Sabrina had a better landing.
And a score of 9.65 puts her second to Sabrina in the vault. All-around winner Brian Babcock ready for one of his favorite events in individual competition, the pommel horse. Here he is, Peter.
Yes, Brian has a very difficult routine on this event. He does a lot of single pommel work behind his back. Look at that. It's very, very difficult. Oh, he had a little problem there. It seemed like he didn't make the adjustment in time, and that's going to be a major deduction for Brian. He only needed a 9.25 to win this event, and I don't know if he can get it now. There's his flare work, loop around, and a flare to a handstand. I think that mistake's going to cost him the title. Let's take a look at that in slow motion. It seems to me that Brian was off, and he didn't make the adjustment fast enough, so he caught that left foot on the horse, and it stopped his momentum.
9.10 the score, not nearly enough to catch Phil Cahoy. Now back Kathy to vaulting. Here's Yolanda Mavity.
Yolanda's a little bit like Phil Cahoy in that she's had injuries at big moments that kept her from doing really well at the top level. She's back healthy now. And watch, her strongest event, vaulting. Very nice.
Yolanda Mavity.
She possesses so much raw speed and power, it's incredible. Just flies off that horse. Working for a good landing, just a very slight hop.
And a winning score of 9.80 for Yolanda. Let's meet her now. She's with Greg.
First place, great job. How'd you feel about those vaults?
Really good. I felt really strong.
I think I can see that in your smile. Listen, you've got the speed and power all locked up. Is that really the secret to your success, you think?
I think so, and a lot of hard work, too.
Great job. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Some spectacular athletes on display in the women's vault, Kathy. It doesn't get much better than that.
It certainly doesn't. Vaulting was very good as a whole. Sabrina Marr does very clean, pretty vaults. But when Yolanda lands the vault the way she did, it's hard to beat the speed, power, and dynamics that Yolanda has.
Peter Vidmar, how about your specialty, the horse? They're looking good.
They certainly are. Tim Daggett probably had one of the most difficult routines that I've ever seen. He made a little mistake at the end, and Phil Cahoy had a beautiful, clean set, and that made the difference. They gave the gold to Phil.
Coming up, a visit with Mary Lou Retton. One of the world's most celebrated gymnasts is Mary Lou Retton of the United States, who won the Olympic gold medal in the all-around competition at Los Angeles. She's not at this competition, but she is in training and took time out the other day to visit with Greg Lewis.
How do you feel about the words fame, celebrity, hero? Those words you're comfortable with? Are those good words for people to ascribe to you, or?
Usually when my name is mentioned, those are with it, but it still feels uncomfortable to me because I'm still not used to it. You know, riding in limousines and getting in this hotel and there, you know, going to these big banquets and dresses and everything. The real Mary Lou is in sweats, you know, in leotards in the gym, and the gym's my second home, and I always feel comfortable there. Even with the little girls looking at me and watching every little thing I do, I still feel right at home.
What about anything else? There's no other negatives to having everyone out there expect you to be wonderful to them?
Yeah, you know, there's always, there's an added pressure of, you know, since some people say, you know, I'm the idol, you know, people look up to me, everybody wants to be little Mary Lou's. But I just be myself, you know, I don't put on any big fake or front, I just be Mary Lou, and that's all I can do.
What about the pressure of America's expectations? I mean, you did the thing that they'd always dreamed about and that they hoped could happen. Do you feel that? I mean, if you go back...
Oh, sure. There's always that added pressure, you know. What if I do bad? Oh, my gosh. Is all this going to go away?
At the start of the takeoff there, did you believe it? Did you will it?
Bella had told me, you know, my teammates had told me, you need a 10. You need a 10 to have the gold medal for yourself. And I was walking back and forth, you know. Everyone said, oh, she's pacing, she's so nervous. I wasn't nervous. I was just keeping loose. Bella always said, he said, you know, don't just stand there and stare because it gets your mind off everything. So I was moving, thinking about the vault, what I had to do. The judge raised her hand. I raised my hand. I got the green light. I was ready to go. And I was just determined to do it. I really was. I really never had that feeling before of the determination in myself to do it the first time. I knew I had 2 chances, but I wanted to do it the first time.
Do you ever lie in bed at night and say, what if a 10 had been a 9?
Yes, I did, you know. A 9, if I wouldn't have stuck that vault, I wouldn't be here right now. You know, that's the kind of way I think about it.
But I did.
Mary Lou Retton with a gold medal smile and a spirit to match. Kathy?
I love that laugh. I hope her spirit and spunk are contagious.
Now we'll complete the women's uneven bars competition. Here's Marie Roethlisberger.
This is where Marie had trouble in the all-around competition. She usually has the ability to really concentrate. She has a big release move here, reverse hex, which is what she missed. That was done very well. This is Marie's strongest event. Preparing for a dismount, giant swing, double fly. Little step to the side, but I'm sure she's pleased with this.
The judges were a 9.70 for Marie Roethlisberger. Here's another great lady on the uneven bars, soon to be a freshman at Oklahoma, Kelly Garrison.
Kelly Garrison is one of the most talented gymnasts on the floor. She does things with ease, and she really doesn't need that many hours of training a day to do this. Free up to handstand, and her dismount, double tuck flyaway. Well done.
Very well done. A 9.75 for Kelly Garrison.
Sabrina is also very good on this event. Look at her straight lines when she gets in a handstand. That was a reverse hex. And preparing for her dismount, straddle up to handstand. Nice straight body. And the dismount, also a double flyaway. Very popular dismount.
And a 9.7 score is good enough to give Sabrina Maher the gold medal in the uneven bars competition. And this is the gold medal performance of Dan Hayden on the rings, a daredevil with great talent.
Dan's a very solid gymnast in the rings. His handstands are nice and straight, has very pretty body line. He's a meticulous gymnast, and he really pays close attention to detail. His twin brother, Dennis, is another great gymnast, but due to injury, he's not in this competition. Here's Dan's backup rise to a handstand. Very nice handstand, nice and straight. He sets up for a dismount. It's a full twisting double back, and he sticks it cold.
Perfect landing, a 9.70 score, and a gold medal for Dan Hayden. It's nice to see Olympian Scott Johnson, who moved up from 4th to a tie for 2nd with Brian Ginsberg in this event.
When they put that gold medal around your neck, I saw real pride coming through those eyes here. This is going to be a great day for you.
Yes, I felt really good. I was watching all the competitors, and I knew I could do it. I just had to show off every skill that I had and stick to dismount. And I wanted the gold for rings.
And a gold he got. A great performance by Dan Hayden. Now let's go to our studios in New York and Dorothy Lucy. Back in Jacksonville, Florida, this is Don Cricky with Kathy Johnson, Peter Vidmar, and Greg Lewis. America's best in gymnastics are here to compete in the U.S. Championships. A moment ago, competition in the vault was completed for men.
And Mark Oates went after his second individual event title for doing a beautiful handspring turn with a half twist. Got a lot of height and a lot of distance from the horse. But he had to share the title with Scott Johnson.
Five-time member of the U.S. national team, still one of the best. Here's Scotty Johnson from Nebraska.
Scott's always been strong in the vault. Look at the height and distance he gets on this laid-out Sukahara with a full twist. A little hop in the landing, but was enough to give him the gold medal.
That 9.55 score was the highest the judges gave. It gives Scott Johnson a tie for the gold with Mark Oates. Chris Casso on the winner's stand for the first time in his career, another Bruin from UCLA.
What do you think about this guy coming right up there?
Well, we were tied coming into this event, and I know how good of a vaulter Mark is, and I knew it was going to be tough, and he deserved to be right up there with me, and I'm just glad that I had a chance to share it with him.
Does it say big things for the future?
Oh, it definitely does. This whole weekend did. I really surprised myself, and I'm really psyched to go ahead.
Great, both of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now back to the competition where the events are alternating. The women are on the balance beam. Here's Kim Hamilton. The men will be competing on the parallel bars.
Kim is very unique in that she's 5'7" tall, which is extremely tall for a gymnast. But she can use it to her advantage. She has nice long arms, long legs, and she's actually incredibly strong for her size. Look at that, a one-arm straddle L. She handed in a steady performance in the all-around competition, finishing 4th in the all-around, tied with Yolanda Mavity. Now watch this dismount. It's unbelievable. A standing back handspring to a double back. See if she makes it. A little bit tight, but she pulled it in.
Good reason to smile for Kim Hamilton as she's overcome the psychological barrier every gymnast has on the balance beam. Her score of 9.50 is a good one. Now here's a young man who dares to be great on the parallel bars, Dan Hayden.
This is a very good event for Dan. Look at these giant swings, right to a handstand. Look at the distance that he gets off those bars. I'm really impressed with the body line that Dan keeps. He's got a very straight body. There's a peach basket, straddle cut to a V, and a flange press to a handstand. This is a very unique routine. Back toss to a handstand, nice and solid. Another back toss, and a front uprise, swinging pirouette. And now he's going to get ready for his dismount. Beautiful routine so far. Let's see if he makes it. Oh, that little hop's going to cost him a bit. That could have been a 9.8 or a 9.9, but that stumble's going to make it a 9.6.
Next up on the balance beam is Kelly Garrison, who had problems, you'll remember, in this event in the all-around, and now she's ready to try something altogether new.
On the balance beam, I plan to do a new mount, so I'm really eager to throw that. It's never been done in any competition. I've never seen anyone do it. So it's a full-on, and it's difficult, but it seems to be pretty consistent because you have to concentrate so hard. You either miss it or make it.
I know she's not concentrating on that fall in the all-around. She's concentrating on this mount. And a full twist. I don't believe it. That's incredible. You can't even appreciate the difficulty of that move because she did it so effortlessly. Whoever invented balance beam definitely had Kelly Garrison in mind. She works beam exactly the way we all wish we did, just the way you train beam in practice. She goes all out. She holds absolutely nothing back. And she throws everything on this balance beam. Now, here's where she had the problem in all-around competition. Aerial cartwheel right to the end of the beam, solid as a rock. What's great about Kelly's beam work is she never stops moving or checks her balance. It's a cartwheel layout step out. Excellent. Most girls only do one or two of these hard moves. Kelly does several, and she does them all very well. She has a good variety of moves. And to top it all off, she has grace and poise and elegance.
And perhaps most impressive, Kathy, she's coming back from a fall earlier in the all-around competition.
Kelly's very good in that respect. She puts what's past behind her and doesn't dwell on the mistake. She competes for the moment. That was a very interesting shoulder roll, which is an original move of Kelly's. I don't think I have ever seen Kelly do a routine as well as this one, and she's done some great ones. Now, if she could just stick the dismount. Round up double twist. Beautiful routine.
It really was a phenomenal routine by Kelly Garrison. The most spectacular part when she mounted the beam. Let's watch.
I can't say enough about this mount. It's incredible and unheard of. A full twist on the beam.
And the score of 9.90 is the highest score given out in this meet so far.
I think it's the routine of the competition.
And it's not over yet. We'll be back. On the balance beam, another rising star in American gymnastics, Stacy Gunthorpe.
I'm really excited about this little one. She shows a lot of promise. Of all the events, this is the tough one for the young one. If you don't have a lot of experience, it's very easy to get rattled up there. I know in the past this has been a little bit difficult for Stacy, and she's had misses in the past. But this routine has been excellent. Here's the dismount. Round up, double back, nice and high. Oh, over-rotates the landing. I know that's disappointing to her, but she should be really happy with what she did on the beam.
Good until the end, the score 8.85. A newcomer, Stacy Gunthorpe. Here's a veteran, Tim Daggett, who continues to compete even after his gold medal success at the last Olympics.
Right now, it's kind of different, you know. It's like I don't have, you know, Pete right there or Mitch, you know, to push me along or just to have in the gym, you know. And it's a lot different, you know. I'm in a different situation right now, definitely.
Pete Vidmar, did you push him along?
Well, I think we pushed each other. Tim and I trained together for the past 4 years preceding our Olympic performances. He was my roommate for 2 years at school. He was my best man at my wedding. I know Tim better than any other gymnast, and I know he does not want to go home empty-handed. He wants a national title, and his best shot is here, where so far he's in the lead. He's got off to a great start. Here's his press to a handstand. Tim's always had a very innovative routine on the parallel bars. A back toss to a handstand. Another back toss to a handstand. Front uprise. Hop pirouette. A stutz to set up for his dismount. Look how straight that handstand is. And a beautiful double back. Stuck it pulled. That should be enough to win it.
And that is a winning score, 9.70. Now here's Sabrina Marr.
This routine here should say a lot about Sabrina. It's where she really had to concentrate and be close to perfect to take the all-around. It's sometime an iffy event for her, but she really went after it in the all-around. We'll see how she does here.
She'll be a sophomore next fall at Alhambra, California High School. Parents were born in China. She's been raised in the Los Angeles area. Just 15 years old.
And it backed up. She's really being aggressive. Sometimes it's very easy to hold back on this event. This will be a very crucial point in her routine. Back handspring, lay out, step out. Boy, and she saves that. You know, I'm noticing a change right here before my eyes in Sabrina. What once was a I hope I do well attitude is I will do well attitude. And it's great to see. I think the winning the all-around has finally sunk in. She feels like a champion, so she's going to perform like one.
She's been doing that, 4 feet 10 inches tall, 82 pounds.
And a front tuck, and stuck it cold. She's really doing super. She's got a very difficult dismount. The triple twisting somersault. It's hard to get in all those twists. Well done. Beautiful job.
Sabrina Marr, who is one of the dancing orphans in the motion picture Annie.
Here's another look at that dismount. It's so difficult and beautifully done. 3 twists.
An impressive score for Sabrina.
What are you trying to do? That was great. That's the best I've ever seen her do. She took a step out of the front. That was about the only thing.
She slipped out there and she comes back in here again.
But her 9.6 score was not good enough to catch Kelly Garrison. She's the winner, and she's with Greg Lewis now.
Tell me about that mount.
Well, I was really nervous to throw the full, but I really needed to practice. So I decided it was worth it to go for it, and that's always been my attitude for beam, is to go out and go for your whole routine, no stop. And I'm just thrilled to death.
You have the whole crowd thrilled to death. Terrific job.
Peter Vidmar, your friend Tim Daggett was right back in Olympic form.
He sure was, and likewise, the quality on parallel bars was higher than any other event so far today, and I was really impressed with the athletes' new moves.
Kathy, have you ever seen better beam routines?
I have never seen these girls look better on the balance beam. They were so steady and so confident and sure that it was incredible. And just to see Kelly Garrison's brand new mount on the balance beam made the whole competition worthwhile for me.
Here's Greg with Tim Daggett.
What about the return? Does this kind of give you more impetus to go on?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like I said earlier, I'm doing the sport now because I love it. I've accomplished a lot of my goals. I'm just having a good time. That's why I'm out here.
We all love seeing you back. Terrific.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be back.
Next for the women, the floor exercise, and for the men, high flying on the high bar. Now, the individual event finals continue as Tim Daggett goes up on the high bar.
Tim's in 7th place in this event, so realistically, he doesn't have a chance for 1st place, so he's just going to go all out. This is where he clinched the gold medal for the USA in the Olympic Games. There's a reverse hack, immediate flyaway hack. Oh, that's beautiful. There's a straddle cut, and another flyaway hack. There's 3 releases in this routine. That's amazing. I don't even think I've ever seen Tim train this routine. There's his hop. He's going to stoop in to fulfill his dorsal grip requirement. There's the Eagle Giant. Now he's going to set up for his dismount. One of the hardest in the world. Double layout with a full twist. Excellent routine. Boy, he really went all out.
And a score of 9.75 for Tim Daggett is the highest in this event yet. Now here's Marie Roethlisberger ready to perform on the floor exercise. Does she have anything special planned to move up in the standings?
Yesterday I did a double back on the middle pass and just did double full at the end. This time I think I'm going to do it a little harder and double back at the end. That'll be a good experience for the future. Then maybe I'll do that every time.
It's really tough to try and do a double back at the end of your floor routine. We'll see how it goes. Marie has a really difficult first pass. The full twisting double back. And well done. Ooh, I believe she stepped on the line. As long as she didn't go out, though, it's not a deduction. Marie felt quite a bit of pressure during the all-around competition, but during these event finals, she seems to be going all out. She's back to her aggressive self. Here comes that middle run. Oh, she did the double back there. Be interesting to see what she does on the last pass. She might be just a little bit tired from the all-around competition. She might just stick to her usual stuff, do that double twist at the end. Then it'd be a nice, steady routine. Fell out that turn just a little bit. I think this is a great music selection for Marie. Preparing for her last run. I'm sure it's a double twist. Yes, double twist. Nice routine.
Marie Roethlisberger, whose father competed for the U.S. in gymnastics in the 1960 Olympics and is currently the coach at Minnesota.
This is her first tumbling pass, a full twisting double back, one of the only ones done in this competition today.
Marie's score of 9.60 sets the standard, and now it's time for Dan Hayden, and he's something.
He sure is. Watch Dan's horizontal bar routine. He's going to do a crazy trick called the Kovacs, named after a Hungarian gymnast by the name of Peter Kovacs. Here he goes. Backflip over the bar, back into giants. Look at that trick. It's so exciting. He does it better than Kovacs ever did it. Here's his stoop. He's going to do his eagle giants. His stalders. Dan's going to sit up for his dismount now. It's a double back over the bar with a full twist. Let's see if he makes it. And there it is. That was a beautiful routine for Dan. That's going to be tough to beat. Let's take a look at that trick again. In slow motion, we can see how Dan really gets an incredible tap with that bar. Look at the flex in the bar. Now he lets go and he's catapulted about 4 or 5 feet above the bar before he comes down and catches it again. Now he's got to see where he's going. So from another angle, we can see Dan put his head way back behind him so he can see the bar as soon as possible. He looks back and grabs the bar. And I hear he's doing that trick now in practice with a full twist. That's amazing.
Dan Hayden takes it to the limit and scores a 9.8 to take the lead. We'll be back. Back at the U.S. Gymnastics Championships, here's the exciting young Jennifer Say on the floor exercise.
Early in the program, I mentioned a lot of new faces were on the scene now. Stacey Gunthorpe was one. Well, we have several. And here's just another one. Jennifer performed consistently all throughout the all-around competition. She's in floor finals. And as you can see, she's a pretty little gymnast. She has a lot of style. Her last tumbling run, a double twist. She shows promise as well. I think we'll be seeing more of her.
Jennifer Say, who trains with the Parkettes in Allentown, Pennsylvania, along with Tracy Kilor. Her score, though, of 9.60 is not enough to catch the leader, Marie Roethlisberger. Now here's our all-around champion, Brian Babcock, on the horizontal bar. Peter?
Earlier, Brian had some problems as he tried a new trick, a flyaway half turn from the opposite grip. As he came around to catch the bar, he caught the top part of his handguard in his right wrist. As you can see, it drops down, and he lost control and had to take a counter swing. To do these new tricks, the gymnasts need new equipment. Unfortunately, as in Brian's case, that equipment can give us some problems, and that dropped him back down from second place.
Now our women's all-around winner, Sabrina Marr, just 15 years old. We asked her about how she approaches major competition like this.
Some people, when they get to a meet, they get really nervous and they crack under pressure. And like some people, they do really good and then they can, do really good in workout and compete at a lower level. What I'm trying to achieve is to compete at a higher level than what I work out in.
When the music starts and she begins her elegant floor exercise, Sabrina Marr lights up the arena. Kathy?
Regardless of the outcome of this final event, this meet will have a tremendous effect on Sabrina. She now knows she belongs up at the top. But at an individual title, this will just be icing on the cake. Double back, starting off well. She might be after it. I really love this floor routine. It has a lot of energy. A lot of time went into putting this together. Middle pass, triple twist, beautiful. Now, without trying to jinx Sabrina here, she has now hit 11 out of 12 events. If she can finish strong with this, she will have a perfect competition. She's really got the crowd going. Not only is she a talented gymnast, she's a beautiful gymnast to watch. Look at the body. Final pass, double twist. Good landing, nice routine, beautiful.
Her coaches talk about Sabrina's mental discipline, of which champions are made. And the judges liked it very much, a 9.80, and she wins the event.
Super job. That's real good.
Good thing. You had the whole crowd going crazy with you today.
Now here's the current NCAA all-around champion, Wes Suter of Nebraska. We asked him what his favorite event was in competition.
Horizontal bar is definitely my favorite event. It's a little scary, but it's really fun because you don't really know what happens. You let go of the bar and catch back on. The other events, you can kind of, you know, dictate what you're going to do up there. But when you let go of the high bar, you never know what could happen. I mean, your grip could slip right off the bar. So it's kind of the most fun. And plus, I do a triple back off high bar, which makes it a little more exciting.
Let's watch him go to work now, Peter.
Wes is certainly an exciting high bar performer. He really has a lot of desire. He's going to go places in the future. He's a very clean gymnast. Here's his stalder. Now he's going to set up for his first release move. Beautiful flyaway half, way above the bar. A lot of amplitude. That's a little weak on that kip. And another flyaway half, this time out of a one-arm giant. That's a weak kip, and I think the judges might take a little bit off for that. Now he's going to set up for his inverts. There's an inverted giant. Here comes Wes's dismount. He's going to try a triple back. Let's see if he makes it. 1, 2, 3. He lands it, but he takes a little step. That's going to be a bit of a deduction. It could be a 9/8, but the judges are getting very strict. I don't know if he's going to do it. Let's take a look at this dismount now. He winds up. Let's go for that triple. It's very high, has a lot of rotation, but he just misses the landing.
It's a 9.60 for Wes Suter. And here are the medal winners in the women's floor exercise. Sabrina Marr, Marie Roethlisberger, and Jennifer Say on the victory stand for the first time. Dan Hayden won gold in the horizontal bar competition, followed by Wes Suter and Tim Daggett, who moved up nicely. So that concludes the 1985 U.S. Gymnastics Championships. At the outset, we talked about rising stars on the scene. Some of them, Kathy, look like they could end up superstars.
The girls were superb. It was definitely their day to